Jaguar Nation, welcome to the Jaguar Football Show with Coach Jason Rollins, where we bring you all the exciting action of the Southern University football program. It's brought to you by the Louisiana Lottery, Coca-Cola, Ochsner Health, Tony's Seafood, Dow Chemical, Manda's Meat, Exxon Mobil, Blue Cross Blue Shield of Louisiana, and Jerry Lane Chevrolet.
I want to welcome everybody here to this week's episode of the Jaguar Football Show with head coach Jason Rollins. Every week we come here and bring you this show from Old School Barbecue located at 10655 Coursey Boulevard. And as well as you can catch the Jaguar Football Show with Jason Rollins about 6 times a week on various channels and the YouTube and Pelican Broadcast and Cox. Right here on the screen, you can see on Tuesdays and Wednesdays as well as on Monday, Wednesdays, and Tuesdays. Check out those times. We're always available. And as well as on social media, the Facebook page, YouTube page, and also Twitter with the Jaguar Football Show. Be sure to keep up with us each and every week. I'm Perry White, and I'm standing in for Todd Sterling today. And, Coach, we're going to jump right into it. Having a bye week this week, you get a chance to get out on the recruiting trail?
Well, this Friday we will be for sure. It was good to see some high school football. Playoffs are starting. A lot of good football in the area.
Well, you know, normally we just jump into this bye week right before Bayou Classic. We jump into some highlights, and let's jump into offensive highlights so far of this season and see what the Jags have been able to do. And you look right here and walk us through this, Coach.
Well, right there, you know, Kobe Dillon fighting second effort. You know, a surprise this year. You know, came on strong, switching positions from quarterback to running back. And then this one right here, Marquise McLean showing his athletic ability. You know, big, fast, and strong, busting for an explosive run on the reverse. A much-needed touchdown at that time.
You know, Marquise McLean is a guy that transferred in for Auburn. When you look at this offense and the plays that you guys have been able to make this year and you check out these guys, how important has it been, especially when you look at Kobe Dillon and what he's meant to this offense?
Man, it's good. You always want to find players that can make explosive plays. You know, that's why they call them playmakers. They make the play for you. So that's what we always look for in recruiting. We look for that within our roster as well.
Right here you got Skelton going in for a touchdown. You know, you look at the offense, Bubba McDaniel has been the quarterback pretty much this year and leading this offense passing the ball. How does that help in terms of having a balanced offense with running and passing?
We want to make the defense defend the entire field, both run and pass as well. So we want to be balanced, be able to run it and throw it when we have to throw it, and then also throw it when they don't think we're going to throw it.
And talk about your stable of running backs. You guys are probably as deep as running back than any team in this conference. What is that running back room like when you look at those guys?
I tell you what, it's by committee, and all of them have a job description. They bring different things to the table. You know, we have some that are big, fast, and explosive. We have some that can catch it out the backfield. We have some that are really good in protection. So they all bring something different to the table, which together they're a great group.
You know, we can't talk about this offense unless you talk about the big man. You said early on this is a big man-led team. These guys on that offensive line have been pushing away for this offense.
Tell you what, they played a lot of football together. So we'll say we're a big man lead this team, and so we always go into the game leaning hard on our offensive line.
Tight ends, a guy like Ethan Howard and others, they've been big targets for you.
I mean, Ethan's came on late as the end of the year. He picked up where he left off from the Springs. You know, coming off of an All-American spring this season this spring, we expected big things from him, and he's delivering.
You know, the number one rushing team in the conference, and you guys have put a lot in terms of Bubba McDaniels trying to find open receivers as well. What do you think the strength has been of this offense outside of with that O-line this year?
You know, it's really been our balance and running the ball, being able to keep people off balance and protect our offensive line with the run game.
You look right here, Jags making a big play. Who is this right here, Coach?
That's Ethan Howard on call right there.
Bubba McDaniels back there in the pocket throwing that ball around. You look at your receivers and you think about everything of how it's been going this year. What has been your assessment of the offense so far?
I mean, it's been up and down. You know, kind of inconsistent at times. But at the end of the day, you know, we're pleased, but we need to progress a little bit more.
You know, with this bye week, you get ready for the Bayou Classic, and we continue to talk about the offense. What ways can you improve with this offense as you head into this last game against a Grambling defense who has shown that at times they can be stout this year?
You know, execution, and at the end of the day, football is about winning your one-on-one battles. So we have to win our one-on-one battles, whether it's a one-on-one catch, a one-on-one make a defender miss. You have to win your one-on-ones.
Let's talk about Kobe Dillon a little bit, before we go to break. Kobe Dillon's a guy, as you said, he was a quarterback, converted over to running back. He set a Southern rushing record against Pine Bluff. How hard is it to change a guy over from a quarterback position to get him to understand the running back position?
Well, that just lets you know what type of player he is, that he can flip the switch and go from being protected to being a guy that's not protected anymore.
And then you look at this offensive line, I have to go back to it. I mean, probably the most dominant offensive line to have come through the SWAC, where you have all of your offensive line, all SWAC. I mean, how does that feel to have each and every one of those guys going out to perform the way that they do?
I tell you what, it's confident to know that part, it's the hardest position to have on the field, offensive line. It's the hardest position to recruit. And to have those guys that can play together for so long and be dominant every Saturday, is confident.
Well, Friday, we look to see you out recruiting. Next Saturday, we got the Bayou Classic. But right now, we're going to get ready to take a break, and we're going to come back. Stay tuned for the Jaguar Football Show with head coach Jason Rollins.
Our Jaguars run further, jump higher, and never stop reaching for success. From the helmets that keep players safe to the shoes that help them run fast, ExxonMobil is proud to make what the world needs to keep us all moving forward.
Where's everybody going? This game's not over. So we're not the best. Our kicker stubbed his toe on the ball, and pretty sure our mascot has this costume on backwards. But this is our team. No matter what.
They said I was small, weak, said my heart wasn't strong enough. But I showed them what heart looked like, again and again and again. Mom got me the right care, the right doctors with Blue Cross coverage. Don't let people tell you who you are. Show them the right card, the right care.
Welcome back to the Jaguar Football Show with head coach Jason Rollins. Of course, before the break, we talked about offense, but we got to go to defense, coach. This is your specialty. You've been a defensive coordinator. And let's jump into the highlights. Let's check out some defensive plays from this season as we lead up into this bye week. And let's talk about this Jaguar defense. They are a bend but don't break type of defense.
I'll tell you what, it's been consistently inconsistent at times. So here as of late, they've been playing well together. Had to make a few adjustments as far as schematics to put the guys in the right position to be successful. So, they've been coming on strong here as of late, the last 3 to 4 games.
Let's talk about that D-line. Devin Cotton, Chris Peterson, and then you look at that defensive end. You got the FCS Defensive Player of the Year coming out of the spring with Jordan Lewis and Jalen Ivey on the other side. Talk about those guys and their impact in terms of putting pressure to quarterbacks and running backs.
I'll tell you what, it's been good to have them all. We hadn't had them all at one time this entire season.
Yeah.
So Saturday night, the last game that we played, they finally had all of them at one time, injury-free. So when they're together, the chemistry is there, and they can put a lot of pressure on opposing teams' quarterbacks.
Yeah, you're talking about injury-prone. The injuries have been dealt with this defense. But let's go to the linebacker position, led by Ray Anderson. He's been named Defensive Player of the Week in the SWAC before this year. How important is that linebacker? That may have been your most, inexperienced position on defense this year.
It was. Ray, he missed like 3 games this season, but when he came back in, he let you know the presence that he brings on the field as far as his leadership and how he can make plays. The other position on the linebacker has kind of been by committee, trying to find that guy that can step in and make plays. So we're doing it more by committee as opposed to one person. But Brian Jordan Jr. has stepped up the last 3 games to give us some consistency at that wheel backer position.
You talking about defensive backs, Tamar Smith, all SWAC corner. You look at Robert Rim, Glenn Brown, and so many others, Chase Foster, Jacoby Papillon. That secondary, man, they've been right there for you all season.
They have been, just the same as the linebacker position or D-line position. They've been banged up a little bit, but they all been playing well together. Tamara Smith, he's missed 4 games this season, as well as Glenn Brown had to miss 2 games. That's why we need those numbers and that depth to be able to take up what the other guy left off from.
Now, earlier this year, we saw in a couple games targeting seemed to have been just hampering the Jags defense. What did you guys do to clean that up?
It's just practice. Yeah. More practice. We practice. We teach hawk tackle, which is through the thighs, wrap and roll. But sometimes you have to lower that strike zone so that you can't have those targeting penalties.
Right here we see the Jaguars defense. What you see right there is a defensive coach.
Well, that's good leverage and by the outside defender and good inside pursuit by the defensive lineman.
Now, you look at this game last week against Jackson State. You did a great job in terms of keeping Shedeur Sanders locked up. What did you guys see on film about him?
Well, he's a really good quarterback that he can hit all of his spots. So we wanted to change the coverages up so that he had to hold the ball a little bit longer than he wanted to.
And, we go back and talk about this defense, and you talk about injuries. And let's just be real about the injuries for a lot of people who don't know. How much do injuries really play a part when you look at your key players being out this year?
It plays a big part as far as, guys that are their backups. And then whenever you sub, that's the backup to the backup whenever the starter's out. So you're not as strong as you'll want to be. And so injury plays a key part, but we have a next man up mentality. Many reasons, but no excuses. That's what we always say.
And then we look at a guy like Jordan Lewis, FCS Defensive Player of the Year. What has been pretty much the injury that's hampered him this year?
Well, he's had 2. He's had an upper body and a lower body, a soft tissue injury, which it takes a little while to come back from both of those that he had. But the last game, he was full speed, so we expect the same thing this coming Saturday.
And I like the trenches, and I have to go back and talk about a guy like Cotton and Chris Peterson, who transferred in from McNeese. Those guys are big, and they plug up holes. How important is it to have those guys back?
It's big. You always want to be strong in the middle of your defense. You want to be strong in the middle as far as your defensive tackles to your linebackers to your safeties. So when you have that size and mass inside and you're very strong in the middle, it's a perimeter game. So that's always why we want to keep those big guys in the middle.
Now, I got to get you to talk about, especially with Jordan Lewis and Jalen Ivey being out, and you said next man up. Talk about who has been the next man up in terms of those defensive end positions.
I'll tell you what, it'll be Tyron Nash. Tyron Nash has played, really good football.
All right, well, that's about all the defense. I'm talking to a defensive guru right here, defensive coordinator at a lot of stops he's been at, and he knows defense best. So let's get ready to take a break. When we come back, we got more of the Jaguar Football Show with head coach Jason Rollins.
Around these parts, when you think of seafood, you think Tony's Seafood. Serving Baton Rouge for over 60 years with the freshest seafood caught from Louisiana waters. You can get a variety of fresh fish, fresh and boiled crawfish, crabs, and shrimp. A deli with some of the most delicious food you'll ever taste. For your SU or LSU tailgates, holiday parties, or just because. You just can't beat the flavor or the service at Tony's Seafood. Come and see us today.
Who built the most experienced orthopedic robotic surgery team in South Louisiana? Ochsner did. Who is the official healthcare provider of the New Orleans Saints and Pelicans? We are. Who will shape the future for injury and joint treatment for our community? We will. Ochsner's innovative orthopedics and sports medicine team is dedicated to restoring every patient to a life free of pain so they can enjoy the activities they value most. Ochsner Health. Innovating healthcare.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats. The flavor says it all.
I'm in the funeral business. My job is to bury people. So I've lost aunties, cousins, parents because of COVID. I had COVID in June of 2020. I called myself a walking miracle all the time. I'm still having shortness of breath. I have a cough that when it comes, it doesn't stop. It cuts my wind. Sometimes I just get so weak, I just got to lay down. And you never know when it's gonna come. It's unpredictable. Help yourself. And when you help yourself, you're helping others. Take the shot.
I think Southern gave me the tools to be successful in the future. Going through those courses really helped me and trained my brain to look at things from outside of the box and be more creative. After graduating from Southern, I started working at Dow. I've had great success, great experiences here, and I am a Dow employee through and through.
Welcome back to the Jaguar Football Show with head coach Jason Rollins. Of course, coach, every week, this is normally the segment where you do your players of the week, but no players of the week this week. So we're going to go with Ty. Ty had a chance to catch up with a few seniors on his team and give us an in-depth interview report with those guys.
I'm here with Ladarius Skelton, senior quarterback from Pine Bluff, Arkansas. And Ladarius, do you realize that right now you sit in 5th place in rushing in Southern career rushing?
No, I didn't realize I was running that much to be in 5th place.
Well, you are, and look, I think you need about 200 yards to make 4th in Southern history. So you think you got a 200-yard game in you?
I believe so.
You know, Ladarius, you may be one of only 2 people in Bayou Classic history to be a 3-time MVP. I believe the other person is Doug Williams. When you came to Southern, did you realize the impact of the Bayou Classic, and did you think you'd be a 3-time Bayou Classic MVP?
I didn't realize the big impact it had at the Bayou Classic, but being an MVP, I knew I had to mindset of being the best player, but I didn't know it was the best player of the game.
Ladarius, you've got your degree from Southern University, and you're working on your master's right now. What's next for Ladarius Skelton on and off the football field?
We get ready for a pro day afterwards, and then if that don't work, build my own business.
What kind of business is that?
Clothing, apparel, everything that has to do with apparel.
Apparel. Okay, you want to be a fashion designer?
Yes, sir.
All right, there you have it. Ladarius Skelton, Inc., coming soon in the future. Thank you for your time. Now I'm here with Jamar Washington from Alexandria, Louisiana. Jamar is an exciting wide receiver who really is a slash because he can also carry the ball and do some dynamic things with the football. And that's my first question for you, Jamar. You know, you are one of the fearless Jaguars that I have watched over the last couple of 3 years. And when you get the ball, you do something special with it if given the space. Where did you get your vision and your elusiveness from?
Well, honestly, I first started playing football when I was 5 years old, and my first time ever even getting the football, I scored a touchdown from being elusive. So the vision and elusiveness just came over time with me always being there around football, and, you know, and it also came with me having heart. Like, I was always the smallest on the field, but I always had a point to prove. I always felt like I was the biggest, and that gave me the confidence to go out there and do what I do now.
You do have the confidence, and it does look good on you. Jamar, you know, one of the first times that we met was after a Bayou Classic. You really showed up and showed out and put on a performance that day, and I think we interviewed you after the game. I think that was a couple of years ago, maybe the last New Orleans Bayou Classic. Okay, last Bayou Classic, the big stage. You know, what can we expect from Jamar Washington, and why do you seem to turn it on so well on the big stage of the Bayou Classic?
Well, you said, what can you expect from me? This is my last game as a Southern Jaguar, so I'm definitely going to give it my all, like I do every game. I feel like this game is so special because as a kid, it's every kid's dream to play in the Bayou Classic, you know. I've been watching the Bayou Classic since I was a kid in the living room with my family. You know, that was always the thing. We sit in the living room, cook, eat, and watch the Bayou Classic. And I actually had the opportunity to come to one of the games when I was in the 7th grade, I believe. And I always told myself that I would play in one of those games, in one of the biggest games of the year. It's 60,000 plus fans. I mean, who wouldn't want to play in front of that crowd?
True that, true that. Well, Jamar got.
All right, we're back from that. Let's get ready to take a break. And when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about the Bayou Classic with Coach Jason Rollins. So stay tuned. We'll be right back with the Jaguar Football Show.
Our Jaguars run further, jump higher, and never stop reaching for success. From the helmets that keep players safe to the shoes that help them run fast, ExxonMobil is proud to make what the world needs to keep us all moving forward.
When I was a boy, I spent my days climbing trees, catching fish. Barefoot in the river I walked, listening to crickets, counting stars. This was home. After my stroke, I wondered if I'd make it back to the people and places I love. But I got the right doctors with Blue Cross coverage. Your card matters. Your home does too.
Where's everybody going? This game's not over. So we're not the best. Our kicker stubbed his toe on the ball, and pretty sure our mascot has his costume on backwards. But this is our team. No matter what.
Welcome back to the Jaguar Football Show with head coach Jason Rollins. Coach's Bayou Classic next week. Give me your idea in terms of coaching in the Dome and taking your team in against Grambling, who ultimately has just let go of their head coach, Roger Fobbs, and now you got a team that's going to be led by a Southern guy who was formerly an assistant here, Terrence Graves. What does it mean for you and your team to go into that game?
You know, we're just excited to get back to the Classic as we all know it. Get it back to New Orleans where everyone knows Thanksgiving Day weekend. Come on down for a great show, a great event. It's one of the biggest football games in all of college football. So we're just excited to be able to get back to normal.
All right. Well, that was a short segment for us to talk about Bayou Classic. We got to get ready to take another break and pay some bills. So, hey, stay tuned. We'll be right back. It's the Jaguar Football Show with head coach Jason Rollins.
I've always been a person that was very interested in learning how things worked. I got introduced to engineering from Southern University in Baton Rouge. And I think Dow and Southern really helps that as a woman in engineering. Coming to Dow, I just feel like I'm doing so much with my degree. It's just gonna take me so many places. The company is so wide and so expansive, you can go anywhere, you can do anything.
I'm in the funeral business. My job is to bury people. So I've lost aunties, cousins, parents, because of COVID. I had COVID in June of 2020. I called myself a walking miracle all the time. I'm still having shortness of breath. I have a cough that when it comes, it doesn't stop. It cuts my wind. Sometimes I just get so weak, I just got to lay down. And you never know when it's gonna come. It's unpredictable. Help yourself. And when you help yourself, you're helping others. Take the shot.
Around these parts, when you think of seafood, you think Tony's Seafood. Serving Baton Rouge for over 60 years with the freshest seafood caught from Louisiana waters. You can get a variety of fresh fish, fresh and boiled crawfish, crabs, and shrimp. A deli with some of the most delicious food you'll ever taste. For your SU or LSU tailgates, holiday parties, or just because. You just can't beat the flavor or the service at Tony's Seafood. Come and see us today.
Who built the most experienced orthopedic robotic surgery team in South Louisiana? Ochsner did. Who is the official healthcare provider of the New Orleans Saints and Pelicans? We are. Who will shape the future for injury and joint treatment for our community? We will. Ochsner's innovative orthopedics and sports medicine team is dedicated to restoring every patient to a life free of pain so they can enjoy the activities they value most. Ochsner Health. Innovating healthcare.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats. The flavor says it all.
All right, we're back here with the Jaguar Football Show with head coach Jason Rollins. It is Bayou Classic week, so everyone make sure you go out and get your tickets. Go out and support the Jaguar football team as Coach Jason Rollins is able to take his team down into New Orleans. And, hey, it gets no better than Southern and Grambling, 2 of the biggest names in the state of Louisiana. You have to be able to get your tickets. MyBayouClassic.com. Go get your tickets. Get your tickets. I don't even know how many more ways to say it, Coach.
You can't say it any other ways.
Get your tickets. Get your tickets. And enjoy some good food and festivities. The Bayou Classic, of course, the #1 HBCU Classic and one of the biggest games in the nation in terms of FCS. It gets no better than that when packing out the New Orleans Superdome and being able to bring family and friends from all over the country. It is a good time, and it is a game that you should not miss. And being able to go out and support head coach Jason Rollins as the Jaguars end up wrapping up this 2021 season, Coach. So, you know, as we wrap this season up, we're going to wrap this show up, and let's wrap it up with a Go Jags.
There you go.
Here we go. Go Jags. Get your tickets.